Evening, Eddie. How's it going, mate? I hope you're good. Right. Well, I suppose if I am absolutely 100% definitely live now, I guess this is the first introduction to GKP Live, Ponto. Basically, what this is going to be about is myself and a couple of other guests every now and again getting people involved for a chat and a discussion and a talk about basically what we do as pond keepers and business hobby. So plans that we've got coming up for the future, things that we've got to that we're going to do, things where we're going to be going, i.e. plans and such for my pond, my garden, anything that we've got up and going with the community through the Baldwin Reefer and all that kind of stuff. So evening, Phil, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Appreciate it. Basically, what I'm going to be doing tonight, or what we're going to try to do, is I've got a couple of guests, as you'll have all met them and seen them before in the past, which is the first one is going to be Mick Lawson, the second one is going to be Dad from Daz's Koi Farm, just to slowly get introduced into this live streaming lag, and excuse the headset, till I get myself a nice mic boom and a new camera, as in a proper official camera. I won't have to use my microphone then and my mobile phone. I need to get myself one ordered. Once I can get one somewhat sorted out, then it'll be a little bit different and a little bit slightly different layout. I shall just knock this music down a little bit in the background. So, first of all, what I'm going to say is what we've got planned for this weekend. We intend to be going down on Saturday. A few of us. There'll be myself. There'll be Mick Lawson. There'll be Jack, April, possibly the kids. Unfortunately, as of yet, we don't know if Dad can make it. We think he's got some problems, well, not problems, but issues at home that he needs to be taken care of. So if we go down to the show, we'll be down there. Evening, Cushy. How's it going? Glad. Thank you very much for joining me, mate. Appreciate it. And we got 3 people in now watching. Nervous. It's a bit different, this, to being pointing a camera at something else when it's pointing at you. Even though I've done it many a time on video, it's a little bit different. But yeah, so we'll be going to the show this weekend. We'll be going down. Oh, I'm not sure I say show. I believe it's an auction. So we'll be going down to the auction, having a look at what's going on, taking the cameras down, doing a little bit of filming, a little bit of vlogging, and we'll be seeing you down there, Phil. I believe it's Quinnico Saturday. I think 90% of YouTube community will be there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will be, mate. I mean, from what I can gather, it's high-end fish that I believe they're auctioning off and selling on. Like, from what I'm told, they're normally quite expensive fish, so they should be. Jakes, how's it going, mate? Thank you very much for joining us, bud. Appreciate it. I think from what I've heard, Phil, it will be quite expensive fish to be auctioned. I'm not saying stupid money, but they should be of good quality. Hopefully, there should be some nice fish to look at. That's what I'm going for. It's always nice to have a look at somebody else's fish and see what's out there and available and what you can get for your money. So when we've done that, we should hopefully then be coming back up through and giving Daz a hand. I don't know if any of you saw the live stream from Jack's the other day where he'd got a big blue vat. Daz has also got one of them. We're going to give him a chuck and move that around in the garden and get it into position for him. Hopefully we'll be able to get it plumbed in, sorted out, and good to go so that he can start moving some of his selected fry. We might even be having a look at some of the other fry as well, and not so much of a grading, but just seeing how much they've changed in the last few weeks since the last time we were there. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully, that's the plans for the weekend. I will be dropping a little video tomorrow evening. It should be coming out, I think I set it for 5 o'clock, which is the first of my new fish for the pond, which is my, well, yeah, I'll tell you. It's my new Yamabuki Ogon, courtesy of the Baldwin Reefer, Reefer Aquatics, tropical and koi style. Phil says that's why he's taking in the wife. She's got your credit card. That means that she does the spending on your card. Evening there. How's it going? There go my koi keeper. I hope you're good, mate. Chris, thanks for joining me, mate. Excuse me, I have got one heck of a tickle cough. It's driving me up the wall. And this is probably going to end up being quite a bit of a long chat. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring in my first guest, who's going to be Mick Lawson, who's become a little bit more of a sort of like everyday kind of guest. He's getting out and getting himself about a bit more, which is what we're all about in the community of myself and Jax. We're trying to get more and more people together so we can get more and more people out there, and hopefully, hey, Kev from Dorset Koi Pond, thanks very much for joining us, mate. Oh, and then we've got Gavin from Kayak. Thank you very much for joining us, but appreciate it. What we want to try to do is make this more of a community-based, general sit-down chat and talk between pond keepers, fish keepers, whether they be tropical, whether they be koi, goldfish, shabubkins, you name it, anything, as long as it's pond-related, and get people sitting down together and having a chat. What I'm going to try to do, and if anybody else is interested and would be like to be a part of it, is I contact other YouTubers and other people who subscribe to me to come and sit and have a chat and talk to me and the viewers about what you do and what you are involved in and what you actually take care of, and you know what you've got as pond stock and such. If that's something that you're all interested in, hey, up's right. Nice to see you over the weekend, mate. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome, Sandy. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. I can't believe that already there's 7 people watching. So anyway, like I said, I'll bring in the first person. My first guest is going to be Mick Lawson, so I'm going to add him to the stream, guys. There we go, Mick. How's it going, mate? Good to see you, mate. I've just been telling everybody pretty much what we've got going on what it's pretty much about, what we're going to try do. I mean, personally for yourself, you was a subscriber first to Jack, and you've also started following me, and you're now getting involved in getting out there a little bit more and getting involved with us guys and what we've got coming up and what we've got planned for this season, which is fast upon us. Already the first signs of spring are showing, which you know yourself. You've been out there in the garden today and you've been doing a little bit of pond treatment. Yeah. You've been, I think, what is it, clover leafing this morning to get rid of a bit of
clover leaf this morning.
Blanket algae. Is there any all sorts? Oh, mate, yes. Did you see the question there that's just come up there from Kush? It's has anybody else been suffering from blanket weed, mate? I don't know if you saw my last video from last weekend. I sure have. I have been suffering badly. I set off out into the garden at about 9:30 on Saturday morning with the intentions of giving the bottom of the vac a quick back off and progressing through to cleaning my filters, cleaning my pumps, getting everything ready for spring. In doing so, I disturbed absolutely loads of blanket algae, which in turn then clogged up my pump. So I took the pump out, cleared all that off, and then that started drawing more water through, which started sucking up more algae, which fired it all through into the filter system, completely clogged all that up because I'd taken the sponges out, not realising I took the sponges out to give them a clean and not put them back in, which blocked it all up, which by the time I'd done and finished and I got through to about 10:30, 10:45 at night, I was in a right mess. I was in a right state. It was a full day of messing around, all down to blanket weed. So yeah, I know just where anybody's coming from with that. It's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's what I need to be looking at. But had any problems yourself, Nick, with yours, or have you been?
Yeah. I mean, the last 2 weeks it's got really bad. Started seeing large particles floating around the water, and started to clog the pump up a little bit on the cage. So thought it was time to sort it out this morning to stop
treated,
blocking the pump and stuff. So
see, it surprises me. I also did see Skeggy's Pond, who put out a little video of a day, which has a problem with blanket weed, and his impeller on his Veriflow has been absolutely chewed to pieces by the impeller getting clogged up with blanket weed to the point where it smashed it to pieces. So
yeah,
it can be an absolute nightmare. And I don't know about anybody else, but the amount of blanket weed that's come from nowhere almost instantly is absolutely crazy. Oh, I'm guessing you've been suffering with the same then, Mick.
yeah. Like I say, I mean that's what I'm running. I'm running the Evolution Aqua Veriflow 20,000, I think it is.
Yeah.
And you can see it starting to the water flow starting to clog up a little bit. So that's why I thought it was time to
get it treated. And you've just nicely got up to 11 degrees as well. So for all those that's out there and wanting to use, I mean, there are other products out there, but personally, if it were me and I were to recommend one, I have never had it fail. It's never not worked for me. Cloverleaf Blank Answer seems to be what I would consider the best product on the market. And even if you catch it early enough, you don't even need to use a full dose. You can get away with a half dose. Yes, it'll take a little bit longer, but it still does the job. Now then, I'm going to introduce our second guest and bring him in as well, and everybody we can get a bit of a multi-chat going on between us guys. And if anybody's got any questions or anybody would like to, 20 degrees, I guess you're either heated then, Kushti, or is it not? Is it a case of, are you abroad or are you over here in UK or are your pond already heated up? Hey up, Sam, thanks for joining us, mate. Guess who just woke up? It's been having a late one. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to bring Daz in, and this is Daz from Daz's Koi Farm to be soon, hopefully, fingers crossed, if we can persuade him. I think we might be saying that one for some time, but let's get him in, guys. Let's give him a nice welcome. There we go. Evening, Daz. Welcome to the live stream, bud. I've just been talking to Mick about what we've got planned, what we've got coming up, and I touched base with everybody and said what the plans are for the weekend, which is to go down to the Cunny Koi show and then to Daz's Koi Farm afterwards to give you a chuck with the new, well, you call it the balloon flying saucer, because I've got to admit it does look very much like that. Is there a reason for it being as shaped as it is? Is it something to do with a vortex system towards the filter?
I think it must be, yeah.
But see if we can get that.
Does work very well when it's set up properly. We set one up at Jack's, and I was amazed how efficient it was. There was just a speck of dirt left in it.
And I'm guessing then you do get the spiral effect with it.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to get that. Hopefully, we'll be good. Go on, mate. What you said?
Put the dome. If you don't put the dome on the top in the centre of the vat, it just causes a massive vortex.
Yeah.
Any
for science, then we've got to give that a go and have a look at it just to see if we can see how much big of a whirlpool we can make inside it. But yeah, our intentions are to go to the Cunny Koi on Saturday, then back to Daz's, see if we can get this vat situated in position, plumbed in if possible, and then a look at some of the koi fry for all those that might have just joined us. That's the plans for the weekend. Sunday will be myself back at home, hopefully doing a little bit of something around the pond. What I've actually been waiting for is to get together with a little bit of a list of all the parts and components that I need to start my filter build, and then plan what I'm doing and what I'm going to go ahead with, and then the videos on that one are going to be coming out. Once I've got the filter system up and running and I know it works on the small pond, i.e. the pond as it is at present, I'm going to be switching it up a little bit, hopefully getting the fish out into a temp pond and then making the pond big comes sort of back in the spring, summer, and then the new system up and running with the new pond. That's the plan. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it don't go as much of a disaster as a straightforward clean out of the pond did this weekend, or last weekend, should I say. But we'll have to see. We'll see how it goes. But that's the intention. That's what I'm hoping to do for my future ponds for Sundays, get my parts all ordered, up together, and excuse me. But that's Yeah, we'll see. Oh, I've just noticed there in the background we have yet another guest that's just dropped in. So I will be pulling somebody else in quite shortly. And right, anything pond related, any problems you've had, Daz? Mick's been, well, everybody knows I've had a problem with blanket weed. Mick's had treaties to. Well, we know that you had a little bit of, as we all noticed on the last grading video,
more than a little bit.
Blanket weed, but inside the polytunnel, it can be understood. It's probably expected, but yeah. Anything else that's been going on that you'd like
to tend to treat blanket weed in the polytunnel? I just drain it down, get the pressure washer out, blast it all off, and start again. But in the pond, I do use blanket answer, and it, like you say, it is the best one out there. Brilliant. But the problem is, going into autumn, you get a little bit of fuzz. You think, well, I'll leave it till the spring, and it's always too cold to treat. It's that 10 degrees.
I just got that tiny little bit of fuzz all the way around, lined it in pond, and I thought, well, I'll leave it there because maybe they'll graze on it a little bit if I start cutting food back. But no, they didn't. And come this spring, as soon as we started getting these warm the earlier sunny mornings, boof, it just went. And it the minute I noticed it was growing, it was like 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, and I thought, we've got to do something about this. But it's too cold to treat. Mine was like 7, 8 degrees. So the fish were becoming more active. That's why I thought I've got to get these fish, as I put in my video, kicked into spring, because I really need to start getting them active, moving, and pond going and cleaning. I don't want to be disturbing them while they're sat there in torpor. So it was a case of, let's kick the butts into it and get it going. Jigs has just mentioned there, don't panic, guys. Something always goes wrong, mate. You've got to be 100% right there. Even the best laid plans go to a mess most of the time, so it's probably best just winging it. But my idea is, with the pond, the area that I've got now where the blue slate is to take out maybe a shovel width around that parameter up to the fence area. Obviously I'm not going to be able to do that there, but up to my fence area, move all the blue slate, tub all that back up again, and then make a 4-inch bib of concrete, and then build up with Yorkshire stone. I aren't 100% sure yet whether I should go with a double course, an internal course with stone that's not really all that, maybe breeze or brick on the internal wall, but the external course being done out of Yorkshire stone and coming up maybe 1.5 foot or so out of the ground and then relining it over. And I mean, I don't know whether I'll take the old liner out. I might very well do, but if not, then I'll just overline it. Again, it's a little bit of extra protection should I ever need to get in there. It's a little bit more between me, the floor, the underlay, the carpet, and the everything else that I put underneath it before I put it in. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going for. Evening, Keith, Seaver's Pond. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate you for coming along, bud.
Evening, Keith.
Evening, Keith.
With a fair few in, 13 in now watching, which is absolutely brilliant. Never thought for a minute I'd be getting 13 people on my first. Well, technically my second. The other one was a bit of a live. Well, without further ado, he's here. He's sat in the background. I can see him smiling away in the background. So we'll bring in our fourth guest, which I didn't know was definitely going to join us, but I gave him an option by sending him a link. And if this is the kind of thing that anybody might be interested in, if any of you guys out there would love to get involved, all you're going to need is an iPad, iPhone, something that we can see you on, something that you can hear me on. I'll send you a link. You can more than welcome to come along and join us and sit here and chew it over and have a chat with us about, I don't know where I'm looking all over the place and read comments here. But yeah, we've got one thing that Mick shared with us earlier on about some fish that he showed with us about 5 weeks ago, which has blown me away how much they've changed in 5 weeks, which we'll bring up for you later on. But if anybody's interested and would like to join us, feel free to hit me up in the comments below or leave a comment in the video afterwards. Yeah, that's what I thought as well, Kev from Dorset Koi Pond. Go brick on the outside or block on the outside and then, stone on the outside and then block on the inside and then tie them into each other so that they've got some strength. And Kushti's just said there, is anybody else, Kushti's calling, anybody else used Virkon? No, I haven't used it, mate, but I have heard good stuff about it. But I'll bring that up when we brought Jack in. Well, that's just like cat out of bag, now you all know now the fourth guest is because I just slipped up. But we'll get Jack in and I'll touch back on something with that you've mentioned there, because if anybody's out there and does know, there is a question that I'd like to ask about that. So anyway, let's get him in. Let's add him to the stream.
Cloverleaf is a natural enzyme.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Natural.
Yeah, which is one thing. I don't think you can actually... Yeah, I don't think you can actually... Can you overdose with cloverleaf?
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can, but might be worthwhile having a Google and double checking. Let's get Jack in and see what he's got to say for himself. He's working away at the moment, but we'll get him in for short. I don't think it could be too long, but if we get him in, I'll add him to now. So there he is. How's it going, bud? How's the working away life treating you? You enjoying it?
Yeah, really well, to be fair, really well. So Fish Room Thursday obviously isn't actually going to air on Fish Room Thursday this week, but I'll take everybody behind the scenes. So it's going to be Fish Room Friday. But I'll take everybody behind the scenes. I've got blisters on blisters at the minute. A lot of people reaching out and stuff, and like yourself about the live stream. I would move heaven and earth to make sure I'm here, which is literally what I've done.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So
People,
technically, you're in a long toilet break now, then, yeah?
10 people downstairs, all booked around a table, and I was like, look, you've got to give me 10, 15 minutes. I've got to make a friend of the live stream. Work non-stop since sort of 10 a.m. this morning. So you know,
well, basically, mate, I think we've got a little bit of feedback from one of you somewhere there, but maybe a mic's picking up something in the background. There is a little bit of music in the background, guys. Let me know if it's annoying you. If you're not happy with it, I'm more than happy to switch it off. We just had somebody mention about Virkon. Now, I don't know if any of you guys know, but I know Virkon is very good. Oh, I've heard good reports about it. Now, my question is, Virkon is a bacteria or no, is it bacteria or is it antibacteria?
I think it's an antibacterial cure, isn't it? It's like having a...
So does it remove good and bad bacteria and wipe everything out as a fresh slate, or does it just only tackle the bad stuff? So if anybody's got... Does anybody know whether it does both? Does it get rid of the good and the bad? It's an antibac, yeah. But does it get... So it's an antibacteria. Does that mean it only gets rid of bad bacteria, though, Phil, from Telford Koi Pond, or does that mean it gets rid of all bacteria?
From the little bits that I've personally seen online, it seems like a lot of people seem to be using it and jumping on pipe train with it at the moment. Obviously, it may well be a fantastic product. From the little bit of research I've done, it seems to be that people are dosing it into the ponds. The only sort of caveat I would say there is, as a human, do you need to take paracetamol every single day?
Yeah. That's that. Yeah, that one. Evening, Chris from Stubbs Aquatics. If any of you, in fact, no, because you're all in here. I was just going to say, if any of you admin out there want to share some of these actual links for some of these YouTubers, it'd be very much appreciated. But I don't know whether we've actually got anybody live or not in the admin side of things. I think Sam was here. If not, we'll get you on the next one. Yeah, it's one of those things. Do you need to be constantly dosing yourself? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Yeah.
Once a month,
can it build
every now and again.
Bacteria.
Yeah. I do know that Andy from Derby Koi has used it and has said he's seen improvement in his fish. And the message and conversation we've had back and forward with each other has been that he's going to go to perhaps maybe a once a month treatment and monitor that and see how it works. But for me, I haven't done enough of it yet to be, or read enough about it yet to be using it for a start. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be in any way, shape or form. I've heard good stuff about it, but let's see. Anybody out there in the comments, anybody that's watching, feel free to stick up your opinions, your thoughts, and what you think about it. So Phil believes it doesn't discriminate on which is why you just need to be careful on how often you use it. So that would be, that would be my thing. If you've got your filters, your shower running well, and you completely annihilate everything every month, is it a good thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
You do it all through the winter months, and then the summer, you do it every 6 weeks. Right? Well, there you go, Ken. I'd need to say, or need to see a little bit more about it to be able to say for definite that maybe it be. It sounds like it does good for the fish. People that have been having fish with slight problems have made quicker, speedier recoveries and got better faster, which is going to be a good thing for that.
I think I'd be inclined only to use it if there was a problem.
Yeah, rather than a consistent. Oh.
So
Can it be preventative in smaller doses? Would it prevent problems from arising in the first place by using it on a regular or scheduled 6 weekly, sort of thing?
Just to jump in to what Rebecca Daz said then about using it as if you need to. The way I treat my pond is the same way as I treat an aquarium, hands out as much as possible. Problems, believe it or not, can be fixed with simple water changes. Knowing your parameters, I mean, there was a fantastic discussion that I've seen you guys having earlier on about testing your water parameters, etc., etc. And I just sort of jumped in and said, well, how many people actually note down what the parameters of the ponds are?
Yeah, I got to agree. I did agree with what you said on that as well.
It's very easy to have a look and go, oh, well, my pond this week, it's at 20 parts per million on nitrate. Next week it's at 25. Week after it's at 22. Week after it's at 32. Week after it's at 21. Week after it's at 48. Something's happening with your pond. Because for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks you've been bouncing up and down that scale, everything's been fine. But if you treat it the way Marine Keeper treats theirs, with the amount of testing that they do, you get to notice the problems a little bit more. You'll notice whether it's a filter issue. You'll notice whether it's a bacterial issue. If you have a look at your food, don't just jot down about, my water parameters are this. Jot down, Big Doris was swimming backwards. Do you know what I mean? Handsome Frank was upside down for 10 minutes. Was he chasing a snail that had fell through the water column? And it's little things like that. It's very easy to look at it and go, well, it's been fine for 6 weeks. But on the deep down, has it been fine? Has there been slight improvement? Is your pond? Has there been stuff that have been swinging and you've missed it because you've not really? I mean, there's always the other thing. If you're testing and checking regular and making note of it, you've always got something to go back at the next season as well, which makes perfect sense. But I think a lot of us do slip into the habit of, well, I tested last week, it was fine. It's testing fine now. Do I need to write it down? Well, yeah, you do, because you're never going to know what the changes are if you've not made a note of anything, should you have a problem. Hence the reason why in the mud, I'll grab this, in the majority, I mean, others are available, just so I don't get me in the Pond Lab test kit. I do believe, if memory serves, and I've got a quick look here, there is a little chart in here, which I think you can make a note of all your parameters when you've done your test. And there you go. See, Gaz's koi pond, guilty as charged. The last time I made an entry on that was the 31st of the 8th, 21. And nothing's been entered since. So for not,
there is a book,
say again?
There is a book you can get off Amazon that lists all your pH values and everything, and you can write it down and fill it in. It's like a black book with all the columns done ready for you with the headings. You can fill it in as a weekly log.
Yeah, I do believe actually I've seen another YouTuber, and I think it was Ads. He actually gave some away at Christmas as a Christmas giveaway. And it's like a little book that you, like you say, it's got it's all laid out and everything for you to be able to. I mean, I've never really given it a second thought. I just.
No.
What? God.
You want
Sir, I need to shoot for my dinner.
Oh, is that you? That's well. I appreciate you for making everybody in the company group wait till lunchtime serve for everybody, and you popping in. So nice one, mate. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you on my first official GKP live on talk. Yeah, technically it is because we've done a few practice and then the ones at yours every week. So.
Well, thank you for having me. Do appreciate it. Good luck. I will be catching up later on when I'm in bed.
Nice one.
So
thank you very much.
Oops, I look forward to hearing more about this interesting conversation. Thank you.
Enjoy your evening meal, mate. Take it easy, and we'll see you at the weekend.
Reefer out. I will be there. Goodbye, folks.
Catch you later, bud. So, that was a quick visit from Jack. Go on. Fire away, mate.
I've got another question to ask the viewers about Koi Masters Advance, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. We were speaking about this morning, weren't we? This is before we go any further, before we start addressing it, I'm just going to. When you hear us referring about us speaking about this morning, I've also made a group like this in WhatsApp, so that the majority of us and some of my subscribers have joined for us to do this kind of pond talk on a regular thing. And now that's what's given me the idea to make this into this, because, well, we've had a few late nights this week, guys, haven't we? Up talking till 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning, literally about fish, koi keeping, and anything and everything under the sun. So, anyway, as you were, mate, carry on.
Yeah, Koi Masters Advance, or is it Koi Masters Advantage?
Advantage, yeah.
Is it a clay or is it a supplement for water? I don't know if any of your viewers know that.
I'm going to put this. I thought it was a clay, but I don't know for definite, because when we spoke about this morning, Mick, on my way into work, it could be a supplement as well. I'm not 100% sure, but if there's anybody out there that does use it and has got any info on it, please share, guys. Comments in the column there. Give us your opinion. Is it a clay, or is it? It's not a clay. Seaver's Pond. There we go. It's a supplement. There we go.
Yeah.
Now then, did I say this morning? I think it's a supplement.
You did, yes. You did.
And you said you wasn't sure if it was a clay or a supplement. Now, is it a clay-based supplement, or is it not clay-based at all? NT Labs, Kushikailo uses NT Labs. I'm not sure if it does anything. I was going to try Koi Masters. Well, there you go, mate. Let us know if you ever come back and see us again doing this. Let us know if you do use it, what you think of it, because I've never used any form of a supplement at all, or any form of a clay. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. It's not clay-based at all. Cheers, Kev. Appreciate that.
When I've seen people using it, it stays in the water column for a while, and they have to get rid of it through the filters or hoover it out afterwards. So there must be quite an undissolved element to it, like clay.
Now, what's its actual benefits then? It supplements the water with what?
I think it puts something in the water that's good for the fish.
Well, this is what I was saying to Mick. Now, if you're feeding fish a good, healthy diet, i.e. protein, fruit for vitamin C, veg for them to, graze and nibble at, and then you've got a staple diet-based growth food, colour enhancing, and all these already filled with all these supplements that are in your stuff like this. I mean, are you giving them more than what they need, or just boosting it, giving it a little bit extra? I mean, my impression is most of my foods contain what I would think everything that koi should need as a supplemented diet, hence the reason why they make it. So do you necessarily need to be putting in an additional supplement to your water in a clay-based form or non-clay-based form?
Well, is it like people how you have a multivitamin instead of eating all that fruit and veg?
Yeah, I don't know. This is why I thought it'd be a good topic for us to talk about. Because I truly do. This chat is not in any way, shape, or form Gaz from Gaz's Koi Pond saying I know everything or I know anything about all these items. This is why we're putting it out there. We're having a discussion and a chat and a talk for us to share opinions and learn from each other. That's what I would like to see from this. So it's not in any way, shape, or form me saying anybody's right, wrong, or the other, or a product shouldn't be used or not used, or if it's something like, for example, like the clover leaf. I've used it and I use it every time, and I've used it once last year, once the year before, once the year before that, and it's worked every time, not a problem. Yeah. So I would stand behind that all day long and say that it's the best product out there. I've tried one or two others before. They didn't do well. They did a little bit, but not a great deal. But you can say 100% with cloverleaf, it does exactly what it says. It's the answer to blanket weed. It really is, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so I'm guessing, have you given it a go, Mick? Have you tried it? Have you used any of it? Have you given it a go, bud? No, you've never had it. You've never. The Koi Masters Advantage. Yeah, have you ever given it a go? Are you interested in giving it a go? Is it something you're thinking about having a go with?
Apparently, it has better benefits than clay. Apparently, for the water clarity, the health for the fish. Apparently, but I'm not 100% sure on the truth on the benefits of the fish side. But apparently, the water clarity is far better than some of the clays you can buy.
Now, I'm always skeptic about stuff like this. Now, anything that you put in your water column that allows it to attach to anything else, making it a larger mass, technically it gets caught in your filters and filtered out. Now, is the clay only filtering it out because it's, gathering around the muck and dust and particles so that it's fine, it's big enough for your filter system to collect and filter out? And is it that why you get the
it's a flocculant,
the improvement in water clarity? Because it's, I don't know, I mean, I'm guessing that's the theory behind it. That's what that would matter.
It's a flocculant. It attaches itself to all the algae and bits in your water, drags it down to the bottom where your filter can suck it out into your bottom drain. And
that's why you get your water clarity out of it. So the product is basically just clogs everything up a little bit, so it's enough to remove it.
I've noticed from this morning till now, the pond's clearing, and there's no large particles at all.
Yeah,
floating around the pond.
So,
like the were.
So where does the benefits come from that, other than water clarity? How is it a supplement? What's the supplement part of it do?
Well,
I don't know because I've never used it. So
can't you put it on the food of the fish as well?
Well, I did that same thing as well. Yeah, I've heard people talking about mixing it onto dry food and then mix it on. But I guess that's similar to like when you keep reptiles, where you get the, what do they call it, calcium powders, and you wiggle them around in your
mealworms,
or your crickets or your grasshoppers, whatever you want to be feeding them, and you dip them in, and once you've dipped them in there, then you feed them to it and they get the supplement from it being on them. So I guess that's the theory behind that. They get the supplement into the fish by dust coating the pellet food first. Don't know. Again, it's something I'd be interested in giving a go and having a try it. I've never used any. My only worry is some of the stuff that I have seen about it, some of the people's videos that I've seen out there, is it seems to irritate fish a bit because a lot of them tend to do a bit of flashing.
Yeah, getting the gills. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, clay gills.
Yeah.
Now, so is that just the clays that do that, or does Koi Masters Advantage do the same thing, or does that not tend to irritate them as much?
Yeah, good question.
I think it's probably just clays in general.
If there's anybody out there that actually use it, have you ever noticed any of your fish flashing when you first put it in? But it's all right, we've got a few people banging a few
about it. Carp in the wild, when they're silt feeding on the bottom, they'll flash and they'll jump to get rid of the silt out the gills. So
yeah, when they're filtering it through and they're munching through everything on bottom of it, and then to end up doing it. Sometimes they top and rise, don't they, to flush it out, as well as flashing across. See, yeah, I actually, one thing I noticed tonight, now when you're talking about flashing, I spot one of my fish flashing tonight, which is not good. Saying that, I mean, when my dad came around and took the 7 fish, I scraped every one of them and never found anything. Scraping left hand side, right hand side, from gills back to tail, and the underside, from just under the head area to the back by the where. And I never found out on any of them. Now, it could just be a case of I've given them a little bit of food and I've seen them flashing after it. So I don't think you always need to panic, but I will keep a close eye on them and double check and make sure. I'll read a couple of these comments out. So somebody has said here that there are it's minerals, it also removes toxins, it's meant to be good for the skin. It's supposed to be giving them a bit of a boost. Graham Wright bought a tub of Medclay, used it once. All my filters stayed caked in it. Couldn't flush it out when he was cleaning the filters. Does it actually work? Yeah. I see. Well, there you go, Graham. I think that's his main job. It is to clog up so that it gets caught in your filters and you get rid of it and flush it out. But it depends on your filter system as to whether or not you actually get rid of that and whether it becomes a problem or not. I like me with blanket weed and being stupid enough to take the sponges out of the top of my mechanical filtration straight through into my bacterial, my trickle side of it, and clogged it all up. So yeah. Kev says spot on, guys. I'm guessing that was with my description of how or what it does. It also adds minerals into the water. Jigs it has trace minerals. Jigs also put his koi flashed at first, then after I find after about 10 minutes ago. So I'm guessing when the water column's full with it and it's fully clouded over, your fish might tend to, or does it go that cloudy? Is it kind of like the white out like you get with blanket answer, or is it just a partially white? How much do you put in? I'm guessing there's a scoop or some.
I think it's 1 gram for every 1,000 litres. It's something small.
Sorry, I'm smiling as my wife is just in the background there waving at me the window. So, no, I'll get some later on anyway. So, Graham, I guess it's beneficial to the fish.
It's supposed to enhance the colours as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the clay.
I don't know. Yeah, so
that's what
my advantage is supposed to be good for them. Now then, another topic Mick was talking about today, and he sent us a picture through, and I'm hoping if I can work this out that I should be able to show you and share this with you. If it works, we'll see. We'll get to that one when we come to it. He's got some goshki that a month ago, roughly, would it have been? Maybe slightly more.
Yeah, about a month ago.
About a month ago, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, tops. We went down to Mick's when he gave us all his gift, and we went down to do the grading of Daz's koi farm afterwards, and he was showing us some of his fish. We had a quick look at them, and the Benny on them wasn't nothing majorly fantastic to shout about. Obviously, winter's got part to do with that. The sun wasn't as bright, but he shared a video with us today to show us just how much they've changed. And I've got to admit, I was pretty gobsmacked how much the colour had come up on him. If I can work this out, I'll pull the video in, guys. Hopefully you might appreciate seeing a little bit of fish, and that's if this works. Let's see. Let's see if we can bring this one up, minimise.
Have you got them bowled up there, Mick?
Yeah, it's before I put the cloverleaf in.
Right, sorry about that, guys. Right, so there we've got the
Japanese.
These are your 5 fish. If I'll click play, mate, we'll start it going. So these are your 5 fish.
Yeah.
I'll let you explain.
6 in the bowl. There's 6 Japanese in the bowl and 1 English bred one. We can all see which one the English bred one is. It's the darker one.
This one.
The end where the finger is now.
Yeah, which will be.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you should be able to see my mouse over it. So the one that's just underneath, that's the English bred one there.
Yeah.
And the rest of these are Japanese bred. Now, when we saw these last, there was nowhere near as much colour on them fish as that there is now. Now, come on, Daz, what's it called? The
Benny.
The Benny's red.
Yeah.
But what do they call the reticulation?
Reticulation. I don't know.
It's reticulation, isn't it? The netting sort of effect. But that's coming up on a lot more now than what it was before, mate, isn't it? It's really starting to come through a little bit on them.
They're really velvety orange looking now. They're really popping. They look really, really nice.
Yeah. Robin, there you go. Nice one, Greg. Thank you very much. And you, yeah. Reticulation is the skill shape.
What's the viewers' thoughts on them? Which ones would they say keep?
Yeah, I'll play it again through. This one is the British bred one. The other 5 are Japanese. Which ones would you pick, guys? Which ones would you say would be? And ask me. I'll pause it when we get Mick's finger out of the way on that bit, and we could, because he's talking on this a little bit here as well. We'll see if we can get full screenshot there for a second. I did say, for me, I think it was this one I preferred. This one I preferred more than anything. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a break on the head and had it as a 4-step. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5-step if it had a little bit more of a break on the head. Again, that one would have been a bit nice if it had a bit more break on the head. But there's areas where it looked like you could be getting, I don't know with Goshkis whether how much they changed. And the reason why we thought it'd be well worth sharing these is because the TBR Growing Show, Mick's already got some, so he's a bit of an understanding of how they change through summer, winter, and the rest of it. So you'd go bottom left, this one down here. Let's see if I can move it up forward a little bit more so you can see there. You'd go bottom left then. So you'd pick that one. That one's Jigs' favourite. Black Country Koi, thanks very much for joining us, bud. Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah,
I thought Jigs. I thought there's a fair few nice ones in there too. This one, I think that is the best one. But if there'd have been a break in there and made it into a 3-step, that would have been a cracker.
Yeah,
I think that personally,
the body on it's really strong compared to the others.
Yeah, I think that's the best one out of them all, mate.
Yeah,
2-step,
too soon to say male or female, but just the body shape at the moment does look more on the female side.
With that, yeah.
So where Graham says where that's paused, he would go bottom left. Kushti Koi says I'd take them all. Good man. There might be one available for you, mate. But there might be a few available at some point because I know Mick's got one in the competition. I've got one in the competition. Daz has got one in the competition. He might have. You've got 2, Daz, or just the one? Just the one. So he will be moving a few of them on. But that one to me does look like it's got the strongest body. It's got the nice patterning between the eyes, not over its eyes in any way, shape, or form. Like this one here, it's over the eye. Again, that one's between the eye, but the 2nd step and the 3rd step is small. Not too. I mean, yeah. The Benny on there is more.
Mustard.
Yeah, I see that one. Remember how you've had one in past before where you showed us a picture of it once before and you had an issue with it and it totally changed and turned it into a different type of fish. I see that one doing that. I think that might end up being something completely different.
Yeah, I believe the one in the one just from the bottom of that one will do that.
This This one?
No, the
That
one
one.
next to the one what you've just been on. Next to the.
Oh, sorry, not that one. So you think this one or this one? You think that one will drop its colours completely again and become something totally different?
Yeah.
And why do you think that one? How have you seen it change from what it is there now to what it was before? Have you seen a lot of the robing disappearing, or?
No, it's not. It's just not developed. Like if you have a look at all the others, the slate grey, the robing's developed a lot quicker and a lot more than that one. That's more like a Kawaku with a little bit of grey.
Yeah.
Agreed. So we've got Graham says top right, but he would prefer the head completely without the Benny. So that's this one then, top right, and you prefer that one but without the Benny on it. Am I reading that right? Prefer the head completely without the Benny. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I know what you mean there, but that would be Graham's pick of fish. This one's a little bit difficult to see down here. Let's see if I can. There we go. What about that one? Would that be anybody's pick? Forget that little greenish patch there, because that is that's a little bit of blanket algae. As you can see why Mick's treated today, because this is what he'd got floating around in his water column. Yeah, this one, Mick, as we said earlier, I would say 100%, mate. Moving on.
Oh yeah, it'll be going to.
The top three for me. The top three for me that I would say to keep and see how they do throughout the summer and see how they progress would be this one, and I'd probably say that one. So them three for me to see how they progress. That one, no. This one and this one. It's too much red. There's too much. That one for me, it's just like too much red on all over it in one place. If I were picking for the show, I wouldn't pick that one. If this is what I had to pick from, I'd take that one all day long.
With Gashiki though, does the grey tend to drop out of them a little bit? So are you better to go for a dark?
Now, this is the thing. There's the traditional. The traditional should be dark.
Yeah.
Rubin on it, but nothing in there. Should the traditional dark Rubin with the Benny over the top with no Rubin in it at all, just Benny?
Yeah, floating Benny. Yeah,
floating Benny over the top, and then you've got the light Rubin colour or Robin, whatever it is, however I'm pronouncing it. I believe there's a light version with your Benny over the top, floating again, and then there's another one, and I forgot what that one's supposed to look like. I know there's three types: the traditional, the light, and a different one. I've seen it on a video where, anyway, yeah, it is what it is. I can't remember them all.
The best one in
there you go.
For the Robin, the best one in there for the Robin, I believe, is that cheap one. Well, if you have a look at the grey, the slate grey on it, it's just the Benny what lets it down.
To me, there we go. We've bar this one coming in, but we'll see if we can get it. I don't know. To me, yes, that colour, the darker, this colour's nice, but the Bennish.
Yeah, the Benny's rubbish.
You never know. Trying to feed it with a little bit of colour enhancing might bring it out more, because I think one of my koi was orange, and when I put some colour enhancing through it, that's turned proper deep red. It really improved the quality of the fish. So try some different feed, Mick, and see what happens. But for me, my pick there would be this one. It's got the, what do they call the little dot on the nose? Yeah, it's got a little bit of that on the tip of its nose as well. That would be my pick, if I were picking them. But, again, somebody else has said here, let me read it again, because there's a couple of... Buy 'em light, grow 'em dark, the Goshki rule. So there you go. So in theory, that could be a good one. But for me, it'd be, if that was the rule, then it'd be this one, and this one. But I'd say, I personally think that these three are your best three.
Yeah. I mean, like the lighter one, it's just not developed as much as the other three.
That one's busy in it. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, the pattern's very messy.
Yeah. If there were more concentrated spots and you got, more of a less here, more there. It's funny how you can pick them up with, you can just tattoo them in and change them. It's everybody, each their own. I mean, there's not a bad fish there. They've all got good body shapes. They all look, well developing.
Yeah.
There is a bad one, I would have said.
No, it's still early days.
I'd say, Mick, if you were going to say you had to pick one to get rid of, it'd have to be this one.
Oh, he's definitely going, that one.
See, there you go. Mike's just put in there. It's all different as well. Some buy for pattern from looking from above, and others will buy for a pattern looking through from below, or from below, from a window. So he's right, yeah. But to me, if you're going to stick traditional, Mike, koi is supposed to be viewed from above. That's how the pattern's designed, hence the reason why you're not supposed to have any pattern between the lateral line, because it is supposed to be seen from above. That's why that's why they choose to do it that way. But
I mean,
they do look nice when you look through a window, don't they? So you can see why people do.
Like I say, I do hope that these fish, what we've seen there, I think the growing show fish will be a next level, next level up, or 2 levels up, I believe.
Well, there is. Maybe we should leave that for Jack's channel. But I mean, from what we've heard, they're supposed to be very good fish that we're getting. So we will see what we get to pick from. I mean, I would be happy if the Benny's as deep as that on them. I'd be very happy if the Benny were as deep as that on them. And I'm expecting them to be of a similar sort of size, if not bigger. I've forgotten how big Jack said the other day. I can't remember.
About 7-8 inch.
Yeah, 7 to 8.
15 to 20 cm or something. I think he said something along the range. Is it? Did he not?
Yeah, I think it's 20 cm.
20 cm max size. Which is, there's not much point having a growing show if you don't have to do any growing in it, is there? So, right. Anyway, just a little, I'll let that play through again and everybody can see it. Basically, that's just something we were talking about this morning and having each of us opinions of which you would go for, which you would pick, which you would keep, which you would move on. And honestly, Mick, the 3 that we selected out earlier on, I would say would be my keepers. But if what people are saying there, going with a buy 'em light to grow 'em dark, you've got them 3, that one, and that one. This one's light as well. And you've got the nice spot patterning coming down the top of the body there. This one is way too much Benny on it.
Yeah.
And you're never going to get separation. They're not going to separate out. This one's not good enough.
Yeah.
And it's not dark enough. But yeah. Anyway, that's one little topic that we were going on about, one we were talking in discussion this morning. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that stops sharing that and you can no longer see that anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, Koi Master's advantage there being shared from Keith. The beauty of having dual monitors is I can pull little bits in like that and show them in and let people. So if anybody ever does get anything that they want to, bring to the chat and have a join in and talk to us and come in and join us, if you've got any little videos and such and stuff like that you want to share with us, feel free to send them me over on WhatsApp and I can share them in like that when we have anybody else on as a guest. That's good to hear, Jigs. I'm glad. Yeah, this is an idea that, and I'm not going to take the credit for it, guys. It's purely not been all my idea. It's been collectively a group's idea. We didn't want to call it a few things because there are other people out there, but I'm not wanting to be out there and saying, look, guys, I know everything about fish, because I really don't. I would say that every time I get together with a different group, a different event, I learn something and I pick something up. And if I can share any of that knowledge with you and it helps you, and if any of these guys or any of the guests can share knowledge with each other and we can help each other, that can only be a good thing. Plus, the other side of it is, the more we do this kind of thing, the more the community grows, the more people get involved, the more we can meet people when we go to shows and events, and it'll be like we've already known each other for long enough. That's what I want to see from
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. And if anybody is interested in joining with me or in this kind of thing, please feel free to get involved. Come swing by, have a look, and you can find a little bit more about me in my profile on YouTube. You can contact me, you can email me, you can send me an email through, and if you're interested, this is Gaz's Koi Pond 1, which is GAZS Koi Pond 1 at virginmedia.com. Feel free to stick me an email in if you're interested or you want to come along and you want to have a go. Next time I do this live, I will have that little link that I can put it across the bottom and it can trundle across for people to be able to see. But if anybody wants to find it, if you go on my YouTube channel, it's in my About section. There is my email address there. Feel free to bang me an email through and we'll organise something for anybody else that's interested in coming on next time. It's not always going to be us guys. Daz, Mick, Keith, Jack, Sam, what I would consider friends will be a part of it. There'll always be one of them on, maybe not every time, but there'll always be some of them involved in it. We want to get it out there to other people, and I'd like to be getting other YouTubers involved, other members of the koi community involved in having a sit down and chat and talk about what we do. And anyway, I've waffled on enough for long enough. I'll let these guys have a little bit of a chat. And if there's anything you guys want to discuss about what you've been doing, what you've got coming up, what your plans are, what you would like to do, and what you see this next 12, well, maybe not 12 months, but koi season is going to bring, what you're expecting from it. Well, this is you two live on the spot now. Let's see what you think. What have you got plans for the future up and coming, Daz?
Well, in immediate future, I'm spawning. I'm going to have a go tomorrow, putting a spawning set in a tank and see if I can get them to spawn on the tail end of the full moon while it's still warm. I know Siebers has had some success.
Yeah, I was just going to. You just beat me to it. I'm literally going to say the same thing. He's had his fish. I think his wife contacted him when we were at work saying fish are spawning, and I don't know if he's managed to catch any, but if he has, that'd be nice to see what's come from it. So I'm guessing you must have signs. They're showing telltale signs of getting ready for it.
They're in the pond. They're all chasing each other, and they started coming out of the water around the lilies, the backs out of the water, thrashing about. And I thought, way up, panic stations. So they're all in the tunnel now. I've got males in one tank, females in another. So I can then pick them and.
So you're well, I won't say it. You're male and female starving each other, so that when you reintroduce them, that should spark the flame.
Exactly.
The candlelit dinner, music, bit of Barry White, jobs are done.
Yeah. So there may never know. There may be some spawning going off on Saturday. We may be able to film a bit.
Yeah, that would be cool if we could catch it. I mean, I caught my shabunkins last year, which it wasn't really a spawning, it was more of a feast for the koi, because as soon as the shabunkins spawned, the orders come rushing in, lilies getting nudged everywhere, they cleaned it all up and that were it, they were gone. But my dad's got them now, so we'll see if he has any more luck and he gets to spawn through them on his. Quick question here from Graham. Gaz, did you have any conversations about visiting Adam Beyer? Not as of yet, mate, but I have said, and I have stated, and I did say in No, I didn't catch any eggs from Keith. Was too late. Ah, shame, mate. Gutted. Well, it's early doors, Keith. It is an early spawn for it to start spawning, but you are heated. The likelihood is you will have another event and it will happen again. So by that time, hopefully, you might have your fry tank up and running that you might be able to transfer some of them over and into. So you never know. Fingers crossed. Back to Graham. I did, mate. Now, some people might be interested in going, some people might not be, but I would really like to do and organise some kind of event where a group of us get together, go somewhere, on an organised day out, somewhere one that I've not been, somewhere the majority of us haven't been, and see what we can come up with, what we can do, and where we can go. Because there's loads of places out there. I mean, tomorrow's Saturday's going to be a new one for me. I've never been there before. It's not all that far. But Adam, I mean, I would like to go see Adam Byers. I'd like to go see the fish that's made my new fish that I will be picking up, my next new fish from Vince from Twisted Koi. If you're watching Vince, I can't wait to pick that fish up, mate. It looks absolutely stunning. But that's one of his fish. And it's a plonker. I can't wait to see that fishing pond.
I mean, I went to Adam Amanda's roughly about 2 years ago. It was an amazing day.
Yeah.
Welcome.
He will actually organise for you to go down and have that place for yourself. I don't know if it's for the day, but whether it's for a 2-hour appointment, 3 hour, 4, whatever it is. But if he's going down there, I'm wondering if he'd be happy to do it for perhaps maybe a party of, I don't know, maybe 20 or so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you give him like prior notice, I'm sure Adam and Amanda would be able to.
I'm sure he'd be more than happy to do it because at the end of the day, likelihood is somebody's going to be buying some fish if they're going down there to see somebody and do that. I don't know if it's anything you'd be interested in, Daz. I don't know if you've ever been, but I would like to go and see what he's got. And, you know, it's always good to see how other people do it.
Exactly. Yeah,
it would be nice to go and see.
And there's a pub close by, Graham says.
It would be nice to go and see Mark and Lisa at Cutterbrook as well.
Yeah. Yeah, could be interesting as well. Yeah,
but they're not really too far from each other. So I visited them both on the same day.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm not being rude, but I was trying to read Keith's message there, and a couple of others that were coming in there, doing a bit of the old. When's Daz's channel airing? Well, jigs. The thing is, this is why I've asked us to do this with me, because at the end of the day, majority of the people that will follow you first of all are going to be people that know you, and they're going to know you already through me. Obviously not me, but because we've all been together, people have seen you on my videos. They've also seen you on a heck of a lot of Jack's videos. So the people that are going to be following you are going to be primarily those people. But do you mind me saying, Daz? Are you bothered? His first problem to get over is Captain Technophobe and showing him how to do it and how to edit videos. I'm not claiming for a minute, guys, that I am the best at editing videos. I have learned it all myself, taught myself how to do it by watching videos myself. So that's the first hurdle. One, showing him how to use his devices that he's got, how, when, where, and what to do. Then editing it together, and then there is another option. How you were saying that the first time Daz did do a video, he got a bit of a bashing from let's call them the Bivvy boys, because they're all anglers that had a bash at him for not having certain things, for not doing things a certain way. And to be completely fair, he was fishing under tight rules. That was what they accepted as what was required and what was needed. So he was doing exactly as he should. Now, these guys didn't technically agree with it, but it came down a bit hard, in my opinion, mate, for somebody that were out doing a bit of stalking. When you go out stalking, you are not taking your bivvy with you guys, and you're not doing all that kind of thing. You're going out there with bare minimum. There's no difference between that and a guy going out fly fishing who would have nothing more than a fly jacket on, wearing his little fly coat, flies all tucked up in a pocket, and a small little landing net over the top of his back. You're raking your fish in, you're bringing hand over net, straight in, boom, your net goes back on your back, and you carry on wading down through the river. those are the kind of things you do when you're stalking fish, and that's what you were doing. But the issue that Daz might, feels a little bit put off by it is if he starts going out there, it's the haters, and perfect timing there. There's somebody that's experienced it himself, and I hope you don't mind me saying it. Pond and Garden, welcome, Gary. Nice to see you. There are haters out there, Daz. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'll be honest with you. I've not had that many. And at the end of the day, mate, if you don't like him and you don't want him, it's just your channel. It's yours to see and fit and to run however you want. If you don't want people like that part of your channel, it's as simple as right click, block, move on, delete, see you later, mate. You don't have to have them part as your, if they're being negative for no reason, see ya, get gone. It's as simple as that. But that's the only thing I think more than anything, other than content, because you've got content for days with what you've got there. I mean,
it's an amazing place.
It is, man. And if you don't choose to do it, Daz, what I would suggest you do is record it, keep it, stick it on your PC, copy it over to your laptop, whatever, and share it with us. Because I enjoyed what you did share with us. So
yeah,
I think you really should. But
yeah,
no pressure. How about next weekend? But yeah,
coming soon.
There you go. So to cut a long story short, coming soon. Yeah, coming soon. Good man. You go for it. End of the day, Daz. If there's people out there that don't like it and they don't, can't behave themselves in chat, do what we always do. We'll get rid, move them on, and that's it. End of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would as well. Honestly, mate. I mean, I'm not just saying it because you're a friend. I'd watch because of what you've got, the potential you could put out there for people to watch. A whole miniature version, koi farm, set up, everything from last year's fry, this year's spawns, next year's fry, and
it's quality.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it when we come down there, mate. It's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
It's like a different world when you go into the garden. You won't think it's in the middle of Nottingham.
Yeah.
Would you?
No. And we've got to do it. We've got to get a 360 in. That little bit that used to be kids' football pitch at bottom. Turn that into 4 mud clay. You've got clay base underneath it. We've got to split that into 4 mud pots. You made, mate. That's everybody's fucking dream.
Yeah.
That was fucking not the other one. But I really do think you should, mate. I mean that.
Yeah. At the bottom is clay. It will be perfect for me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you took them down 2.5, 3 foot, lining them out, chamfering them in, a central X cross section in the middle to be able to walk and access from them all. You can have them all separated off, staked out, netted over. Mate, there's a project. Let's get a machine. Let's borrow that one of Jack's again. See if we can get Jack. Well, maybe I won't get Jack down there on it, but I think you could have. Yeah, I think you could give some people a bit of a run for the money, mate.
Oh yeah. The only way's up for him, really, if he did decide. But it's.
Sorry, the message I just read there. Kushti Koi says, I've watched Daz, he's very knowledgeable. Telford Koi says ditto. The Ginger Viking says, go for it, Daz, you do mint. Pond and Garden says, my videos are great and I'm not perfect. Oh, hang on. My videos aren't that great. I'm not perfect, but I enjoy putting videos out. And as they say, can't please everyone. You're right, bud, 100%. And if those that don't like it, mate, they know where they can go. They can go do one. Ginger Viking says, this is what made me laugh. I'd watch you hold a cup in your tiny hands.
Thanks, Alistair.
It did make me giggle. That sorry. Don't apologise for being late, guys. This is a live, mate. So at the end of the day, you can pop in, drop out whenever you feel. But all I ask of those that do come by to give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. If you're not, well, use the other one. That's what it's there for. At the end of the day, nobody other than me will know. and I'm all about the sharing. I'll let anybody know if they want to know how many we got. So,
how many viewers you got now, Gaz?
We've 14 at the moment, but it has been going up and down. It's been up a bit higher than that, and it's been a bit lower than that. So I mean, it's a steady influx.
Early doors, mate. Early doors.
We're an hour and 16 minutes in, so we're doing good. I'm happy with 16, 13, 14. It's up and down. So people are coming. They're either going to, could be very much like Marmite. They're either going to love us or they're going to hate us. There's nothing. The difficult bit about this is pond talk. There's no pond. But what I will be able to do come the future is kick these to a live from my back garden, and we'll be able to have a pond. We'll be able to take this straight out there now, as I am now, with my computer set up as it is. There's no point doing it now, obviously, because it's dark. But I will be able to take this mobile, take you out, let you see the fish, and do some live stuff straight out there outside of the pond. So things to test in the near future, and we'll see if it works. When I get the Wi-Fi booster in the shed, which is the reason for a couple of spare plugs, and the Wi-Fi booster in the shed, I should be able to connect to the PC via the, it should work. So,
is there any way we could go live like this at Gaz's? Because I've got the Wi-Fi technology.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. The only downside for when we're away. Oh no, you've got the batteries as well, haven't you? I was just going to say that would be power, but as long as we've got an electric plug socket or power banks, we can run for a fair few hours. Yeah, we could definitely. That would be.
Yeah, I've got power in the tunnel.
Yeah, and I've got the Wi-Fi technology to plug into the polytunnel. So.
Yeah, sweet. We've got a couple more comments. 16 from Kushtikai. 16 is better than none. Are you a YouTuber then, Kushtikai, or are you just, is that your? Because I can't really see the little profile picture that I've got there for you. I can see your pond. I'm pretty sure that it looks like you've got is it a timber framed one, or is it a sleeper pond build? It's hard to tell. The picture's a little bit small, and I don't want to click on something that's going to. You're just a watcher. You're not actually a YouTuber. So, would you be interested in coming on? Would you be interested in sharing and chatting and sitting and talking? Anybody? You don't. I mean, if your camera's shy, I don't know if we can do just audio. I think we probably would be able to. You got a few little videos, mate. I'll have a look. I'll check you out and have a look at your channel when I get a chance to get 5 minutes. As soon as I now have made even more stuff for me to do for a week. So I'm not going to get a chance. Ginger Viking says top quality content, so I think people would be well interested in watching it. Mike says, Daz, just go for it. Start with the koi spawning, buddy. Mate, I think it'd be awesome. I think it would be absolutely fantastic.
Well, I'm going to try and get as much footage as I can of all the fry, the spawning, everything. Do a daily. You
can do a daily vlog, can't you, or whatever you wanted on it. They've got, like Graham Wright said, there's so many people that do things in different and their own way. Yeah. But considering what Daz has done with his own property, to me, he has got it right. Credit to you, Daz. With a thumbs up. I've got to admit, mate, it does look like to me, it looks just like a garden centre. It already looks like a business already to me. And I think when you put the spin on it and push it to what you want it to do with Phoebes, with the fairies, and your garden inside of things, plus I reckon you could make a good business out of it, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Mike says, you don't even need to talk first. You could just get used to filming it, then the editing is right. Or you can film it all, and when you've done, sit the video playing on your laptop.
Voiceover.
Take your microphone out. Get your dictaphone on your mobile phone, record and do a voiceover, and then you just add the two together. If you're not comfortable sitting there vlogging with yourself, pointing at you, or
I don't mind vlogging and stuff. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, it's just finding the time as well to fit in.
It is, mate. I understand. And at the end of the day, mate, if you do one a week,
Yeah,
it's something for people to watch.
Yeah.
So, next one is Mick. What have you got up and coming? What are your plans? What are you hoping to see? In fact, did you actually finish answering that question, Daz? I think you said the spawning first of all, didn't you? Spawning, the koi shows, the growing show. It'll be spawning, the growing show, then it'll be koi shows. That will be the first next big events that we've got planned up and lined up. What are you looking forward to from it, Mick? What are you expecting to see?
Like I say, I'll be going to the local koi shows, going to the growing show. I'm wanting to build a gazebo over my pond this year, because last year I had quite a lot of problems with young herons and stuff.
Yeah,
it's the first time I've ever had problems with them since I've had the new pond. So
all you need to do, mate, one thing that all predators, because it's a predator, don't like is the being surrounded or being around other predators. So next time you see it outside, I'm not telling you to do anything in any way, shape or form like that, but next time you see it outside, make sure the dogs are in the garden, mate. Because if they see the dogs, they're going to see the dogs as a threat and a predator. Because when the one that came round to mine saw mine, I haven't seen it since. But they do tend to be early callers, and most of the time early doors, I'm up motorway driving away from here. So I could be missing it, but they'll certainly be a lot more put off by your dogs if they see it in garden. If you not telling you to get it to chase it out of garden in any way, shape or form, but you'll find that with a bull breed, it probably want to chase it out of garden anyway. But
they say those plastic
to spook them off.
We had plastic heron.
As a deterrent.
To it.
Yeah, I think sometimes they come up to them thinking it might be a mate, looking for a mate, so they could also attract.
I think with those things, they work for a while, but then they soon cotton on after a bit. Yeah. It's plastic, and they just ignore it. I've seen them just go straight past a decoy heron and just totally ignore it.
Yeah. I've experienced. My dad put similar sort of thing. He had plastic ducks on top of pond. Next thing you know, he had ducks actually landing on pond, which was the last thing he wanted to do. So that came out.
Ducks in the pond as well, mallards, and they make a run.
Yeah.
When they land in there and drop in there, and they're losing the droppings in there, it's not. I mean, again, it's probably another reason for parasite spread from birds and stuff. It's what waterfowl dropping in your pond's probably one of the last things you want, really.
Yeah. Stop the ducks, though.
Is what? Electric
fence to stop the ducks. They can't without getting.
Electric fence has nearly stopped me until you actually warned me about it as well. I do believe it got Jack's little lad, and I do believe it's given Jack a whack, hasn't it too?
Yeah, it's given me a few whacks as well. in tender places that you.
Yeah, well, you'd rather not have one. Graham said the garden hose heron detectors work really well. The herons don't like the sudden jets of water, so worth looking into. But if you're building over so you're going with a gazebo, did you say?
Yeah.
Over top of it, or
like a pagoda.
What's the word? Is it pergola or what is it?
There's a pergola, pagoda, and a
pergola. Yeah.
What's the difference between the two? One's that for growing plants over top, and the other
a
separated.
Pergola is an open top structure.
So you just have the four posts.
It's more like a house, I think, more like a pitch roof. Like
right.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember. Hi, Steve. Welcome to the chat, mate. Sorry, just saying hello because I just noticed him drop in. Anybody? Anything else you want to add, Mick, to what you other than that? So first of all, you want to get that up and built. What else are you thinking and looking forward to? Obviously, now you're part of this mad crazy.
Looking for a shower. Definitely looking for a nice high-grade shower.
A nice high-grade shower, yeah. I mean, I would like one too.
And my wife, Steph, wants a nice Yamabuki Ogon.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Yeah, say no more. Tomorrow's video, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. A shower. I would like an Asagi, since I've just got rid of.
Yeah, I'd like an Asagi. That's one I would like breeding.
I've got the little one that's growing on. I don't know what it's going to be like, but they are something else. I'm hoping it's going to be nice when it grows. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, mate. That's when I saw it. First of all, I thought, "Ooh, is that?" I don't know. Let's get it for 50p. Who cares? Let's see what it grows into. But when I took it out of a day to put it in, and I will make it up at some point so you guys can all see it. It's proper changed. The orange is really coming through, and it's this orange. It's like the orange on my screen. It's a real bright, vibrant, reddy orange. It's nice. It's going to look good. And if it stays that snowy colour, but you can see the scale patterning coming on it already, it could be a good one. We just need it to get some size on it. But I thought now with putting it in with the big ones, it's either going to do that fight or flight. It's either going to grow or it's not. So I've been putting some smaller food in there for him as well. So he's got his food dropping to the bottom so he can get that when others come to top to feed. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get a bit of some change out of him and see what he becomes. But I would also like a Shizumi too, because I've got rid of my other two to my dad, which were never seen Shizuis. It was how there was traditionally the old darker bodied one, the dark blue rather, and the orange was nice. Yeah. And they were dark shoes, but they didn't look the best.
Is that
sorry?
Hardness, because I've heard that the harder the water, the darker the blue goes on the back.
Well, no, I bought them dark, so
right, yeah.
But now, after buying them dark, within 12 months afterwards, Adam Breyer banged out all. I mean, I know there are other people available, but he was the first ones that I saw him. Started banging them out with the sky blue ones, and I thought, wow, they look way nicer than what I've got. And now everybody seems to be doing them that colour too. So even the imports coming in from Japan seem to be that colour as well. But I've seen some people that's got older stock fish that are, your 80 to 90 cm ones, and they're in that dark colour, the original.
Yeah.
But I think it's basically a new change, and it's a new strain, new development, what people are out there. I just read a couple of these comments. Mike's put in there, Gaz, how long did my COVID last? Mate, I got COVID on the 14th of December, and I still felt pretty rubbish up to around about the 8th to 10th of January. My taste came back about 2 weeks after that, so I felt pretty garbage for a long time, to be fair. A good 20-odd days of feeling terrible. But my son is like 5-6 days, and he were right as rain. So I think it all depends on how bad you get it, mate. My chihuahua would scare it off. Maybe kill a chihuahua. Bonagard put, hi Steve. Phil from Telford Point put, I'm determined to buy my dream Shuru Utsuri this season. I hope I pronounced that right. Yeah, I did. Fingers crossed. Might be tomorrow, Phil. Sorry, Saturday. Gaz from Pomegranate says, Gaz, can you give me a call on Messenger if you have time afterwards? I certainly will, mate. Graham's put, I would love to find a Tansho Kajaku. Tansho Kajaku. Now then, that's not something you see every day a week, to be fair. I would like a Tansho, but they're well expensive.
Yeah. We'll grow you one, Gaz.
You've got some. You've already got some growing, so I know Amanda's got some. We just need to get them on the advanced growth formula, and then they'll be shooting up in size. But you did have quite a few, mate. And some of your Tanshos weren't. You had not a Dautsu, but it were an Achiba. That was an Tansho. You have a brown spot, perfect centered circle between the eyes, mate. That's got to be what, when we were talking about the other night about ones that are going to be out to look for, we need to see if we can find that on Saturday. And if we can, you've got to have a look, mate, because I picked it up and had a look at it and I thought, wow, and I was there on my own. So, wow. And I had a good look at it, and I stuck in the ball. I forgot to tell everybody. Adam Byers just released his value tour site at 9. It's his value tour site at 9 p.m. tonight. Worth a look. I would definitely very much, Phil. Did you see his video that he put out yesterday? He needs to work on his sound, and well, we'll say no more. He did tend to do. I was interested to watch, and a lot of it was kind of repeating himself quite a bit. But his sound quality on that video were a bit bad. I don't know if he knows, but there was one point where you could hear a plane coming over, and you could barely hear what he was saying, unless it was just how I would listen to it on my mobile phone. It could have come through, just sounded a bit distorted. But he did bang out one last night about what's up and coming and what's going on, and he's putting out a video tonight about his value tour site. Yep. Thank you very much for sharing, Phil. We'll have a look. Yeah. To get back to what we were talking about, your plans and what you're expecting. Sorry.
You just hit a topic.
Terrible host.
You hit a topic on what me and Dad's been talking about. Dad's been talking about is food. We're on about doing an experiment this year. To see if a high-grade premium food like Sakai Kara versus, say, a lesser brand, say Coppens, for example, just an example.
Yeah, we're not saying it is a lesser food. Other foods are available and all the rest of that kind of garbage. Never know if this might be monetized one day.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
We just want to see how.
But you mean something like, for example, an Amazon value branded food that you can get out there that's supposed to be growth food, and see what the difference would be. Yeah. See whether or not piling in the same amount of food. Let's say if you're feeding 100 grams every feed, what they're getting from it and how the difference would be.
Yeah, it makes a difference in colour as well.
Yeah,
a lot of the colour enhancing and everything, but you don't really know.
Well, honestly, I will say Hikari's staple range, colour enhancing, and growth is what I was feeding last year. I fed the wheat germ, then I went to the staple, then I went from the staple to the growth colour enhancing. And I tell you now, guys, 100%, that colour enhancing from Hikari, it works. It works a lot. The colours on my fish were popping last year. You can see the difference from the early videos to this last year's videos, and look for yourself, because man, did it make a difference. It made a massive difference. Real big difference, especially on the Benny. It made a lot. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see and run a little project on that and see what it's like. I mean, you've got a fish that's coming in a growing show. You could try it with that, see what difference it are. You know, there's bound to be people using different stuff. We could always compile notes and information on what we've used and what we've had together on that kind of thing. The other one that we've got.
Like I say, because I'm moving on all my big fish, aren't I? So I'm going to be having roughly all the same size fish.
So you're going to be you're going to be the guy that's going to be able to tell us what is going to work best then.
Yeah.
As you're going to have more little ones to grow on. Well, saying that, I've got a lot of little ones. Mine aren't massive fish anyway, but there are ones in there that I've got. I don't think I'm ever going to grow no matter what I throw at them. I'm going to try to see if we can get the little fellas hand feeding tonight. Not tonight. I said that because that just came up. I read tonight on Phil's thing that actually said tonight and out loud. I'm going to try to see if I can get my little ones hand feeding with mussels and crab sticks to make sure that they definitely get some. So I know they're getting some proteined food, and see if that makes a difference to them. Because I've got one or two. I've definitely got one. I think, as Vince would say, is my bonsai koi. I don't think that fish is going to grow. It's not grown a centimetre in 2 years. It's the same size as it was when I bought it. But if it isn't and it doesn't, then it'll stay because I like it. I just think it's a pretty little fish, and it'll just remain a pretty little fish.
If Vince is on, It's me who wants the bonsai koi.
Yeah. The other topic that you brought up over day, Mick, which I did find interesting, and it's something that Vince from Twisted Coins touched on, and at some point, hopefully, we might be able to get him on and have a discussion and a talk about it. He's noticed this year, and from last year through to this year, that there is a slower growth on fish with Ginrin. Now, Ginrin fish seem to grow slower, but what I noticed our fish, Vince's fish growing, is all his Dautsu seem to have grown faster. And the talking that we were talking about it as scaleless fish, not having to produce as much keratin to produce the scales, can put more into growth, would be an explanation for that. I'm not saying it is. It could be, it's a reasonable thing to think along for those sort of lines of it being. But why the Ginrin? Why do Ginrin fish seem to grow slower? Because I've got a few Ginrin, and I've noticed that they grow way slower than the others.
You can compare it to plants, can't you? Like a variegated plant will grow much slower than a plain green leaf plant because it's less chlorophyll leaf, so it's only producing half the chlorophyll.
I suppose, it makes perfect sense. So you get some kind of similar sort of big growth, less needed for needing more energies to produce the sparkly Ginrin, as well as the scale growth and the fish body growth. Yeah, it makes sense. Anybody knows, or if anybody wants to come back next time with any information and share it on any of these, or wants to do a little bit of research and tell me what you come up with, I'm going to look into all these that we've discussed and I'll see what I could come up with. But I think it's an interesting topic. And for all those guys out there, what I'm going to do this year is when I go down to any of the koi shows, I found that the guys out there on the koi shows, all they wanted to do, and it were brilliant. I mean, I lost my son for hours to people that were complete strangers. He was just stood there talking to him, and they were telling him all sorts about what they were doing and what they've done and what they've bred and what they've, how they go about it. I'm going to ask a lot of these guys and see what they come up with. See if they've noticed differences like that, or whether or not when you get into the big leagues of competing and showing the feed that you're feeding, these guys were talking about spending thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds a year, something like 14, 15 grand a year on food bills for the cod, which is some serious amount of food. Do they notice it when you're feeding such high quality food? I don't know, but one worth asking. Because they'll share a lot of information, a lot more information than what you'd expect. I thought everybody would be all, top secret, telling you nothing, saying no, cloaks and daggers kind of thing. Keep mum's a word. But it wasn't like that at all. Everybody at the big shows that we went to and spoke to were just fountains of knowledge and well happy to share, which were brilliant. And I think they pushed and shared a lot more with my son, because he's the younger generation, and I think that's what a lot of people are wanting to see grow more, get the younger generation more involved in it, and our Brandon loved it. Yeah, I thought he was coming just to keep me company more than anything, but on his way back, all we did was talk about the weekend all the way up. It was brilliant. He loved it, and I think he'll probably be coming to a few again this year, more than likely.
That'd be nice.
Well, he bought you a cracking koi as well, guys.
He bought himself a cracking koi, mate, because hopefully, if he does, when the day comes that he goes out and he moves out, I will be standing by that will be his fish. It is his fish. And if he ever chooses to have his own pond, that will be going to his pond, should he do.
Beautiful fish.
Yeah.
And we've got a question there from Gary from Pond and Garden. Guys, I'm going to ask the ultimate dangerous question now. What are your thoughts on salting ponds, guys? Right. That's cool. I am more than happy to discuss this. Now, I salted my pond, and I tried to maintain 0.3% in my pond as much as possible. By that, I mean, at the beginning of this season, which is now, I will be taking a sample of water because them little things are so damned expensive that I can get mine tested for free. So I get it tested for free. The guys that where I go, if I'm going in there and I'm buying something, they'll quite happily test it. And they're very knowledgeable. They know the stuff. if I've got a certain percentage of salt left in there, they'll work out exactly how much I need to bring it back up to the levels and contents that I require. But what I do is I take it down, get a sample, come back. If I need to put any in, I add it. And for 2 weeks, I don't do a water change. And that is my treatment stage. I go to 0.3 because I don't go any further. I don't go any higher up unless I know I've got a problem. And then I start my water changing. And over a period of time, I water change it out. So halfway through the season, I'll check it again, make sure that if it needs topping up, I'll top it back up. But people saying that lilies and such don't grow with salt in it, they do. Mine are growing right now. The pond's got salt in it. The lilies are starting to shoot. My plants are starting to shoot. I showed them in my video of a week. They just slow the growth. I still had 6 or 7 lilies grow in my pond last year. But I honestly, I don't understand why nobody does, because if you're buying Japanese fish, imports from Japan, they're all used to it, guys, because they use it. All of them, they all use it. They traditionally stick to it because it's cheaper than using very expensive products that are out there for, treating the same sort of thing. When salt is useful for preventing parasites in the first place, and the fish absorb it in so that they don't the solidity of the body, so that they don't have to put that extra effort in to producing those salts and mineral in the body. They can then concentrate and work on putting that into slime coat growth and all the rest of it. So, I think it helps personally for me. I don't know what your thoughts are, Daz. I don't think you use it, do you?
I don't use it at the moment yet. I've not really got my head around it, but I can certainly see the benefits. I mean, minor rubs and abrasions, the salt is perfect for sort of cauterizing that and stopping it turning into an ulcer.
Yeah.
So I can never see the benefits. But
I can say one thing.
I haven't got a salt meter yet, and
that's what I want to. The next thing's about that.
Saying that they're about £85 for a decent salt meter. That's probably what's put me off trying salt.
Yeah.
I will get one, and I will try the salt.
Yeah. Mick, do you use it, or would you use it, or would you be interested in trying?
I have done in the past, but like I said to you, I was told, stay away from it. You can't treat this if you have any problems and stuff like that. So they said, Learnex Pro and Alpex Pro, buy this for them kind of parasites.
Yeah, they're way more expensive products out there that they would rather you buy than a bag of salt.
Yeah. I mean, a 25 kilogram bag of salt is only 10 quid.
Exactly. And the Learnex Pro is what?
800 gram Learnex Pro is 40 quid.
There you go. Mike says he got one today and he salted for the first time today. Welcome to the Salt Club. And the reason, I will say one thing, right? I've never had a fish with an ulcer yet, ever.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Nor has my dad.
I've had one or two with ulcers over the last couple of years. So, yeah, there must be something in it then, guys.
My dad's always salted his pond. He's never had, that I know of, he's never had a fish with an ulcer either. So, I'm not saying that's because of it, but
I wonder if the price of salt will start to rise, though, with all this with Russia. Because I imagine a fair amount of it must come from there.
Well, if it does, let's get some bought in quick, just in case. Get some stock stacked up. Anybody else got any other questions? Seeing as though that was a pretty good one. Gary, I appreciate that one. Kusty Coy says he's tried to get his son involved. He's having none of it. Well, I can say one thing for sure, 100%. My grandson will be in on it. He is loving it. The first thing he does is he comes in here, walks into my conservatory, he has a look at the tropical fish, he plays the guitar, tropical fish, guitar, tropical fish. If I go out in the garden, he now found out that the fish are out there and it's hands up, straight up, he wants to go out. So he's loving it, and I reckon he'll be a fish keeper for sure, 100%. Mike says, Mick, stunning Sue, mate. I got one today and salted for the first time, which I've already mentioned. Stephen Hill said, I've used it when I've had sleeping cause disease, and I'm guessing it works, Stephen. Mike's put it does what? The bag was bought was 15 to 30, 25 kg. Oh, so it already has. It's already gone up. Yeah, well, there you go. So,
yeah, I know brine shrimp from Russia is well, you can't get it for a start, so it will impact on the prices, I imagine.
That's unfortunate side effects of, well, we won't go into it, but
yeah.
Well,
shame about Russian vodka as well, though, isn't it?
No, Nick, it's not a problem, mate. I've got 4 bottles in the cupboard. I've got some proper good stuff and all. That's yeah, nice. It's nice over ice, that is, but it's strong. It knocks your socks off. Is that? Anybody else got any other questions? Anybody else got all they want to discuss on the panel?
No, that's it. Hey.
No, you good?
Yeah.
Wait,
Hey,
you think
forward to the season.
for us? Yeah, me too, mate. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Using PP, would you recommend it as a first port of call? Are you guys more of the way of thinking that I am of a really good treatment and PP should be a last resort when all else fails?
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you answer first, and I'll give mine afterwards. My views after.
I probably do things a bit differently to other people where PP's involved. Say if I got a issue in the pond, in the main pond, I would take the fish out, nuke the pond with a stronger than recommended dose of PP to make sure that I totally eradicated the problem. Because I don't know about other people. I've used PP in the past, and on using the recommended dose, it doesn't seem quite strong enough to kill all parasites. You'll get probably 80% of them, but there always leaves a few, and then within a few months, you're back to the same square one again. So what I preferred to do was take the fish out of the pond, put them in an isolation tank, dip them first in a strong PP, put them in the isolation tank. So you've cleaned the fish, nuke the pond, drain it all out, flush it all out, fill it up, start again. So you've got a brand new clean pond with no parasites in, and then move your clean fish back into the pond. Then you rest assured you've got them all, or you've done as much as you possibly can.
What about the filtration system side of it, though? Because then you've knocked that completely back, and you're starting afresh with all those fish dropping in. You can be banging straight into your ammonia levels. Are you slowly introducing and you're feeding and stuff like that?
Don't put all your fish straight back in one go.
Just do it bit by bit.
I've got the paddling pools I can put them in for temporary. Yeah. But I suppose if you haven't got that, it's a bit more.
It's not something to do, or not advisable to do it if you've stripping them all out and putting them all back in one go, because the likelihood is you're going to. But if you've got the capabilities of isolating them and transferring them back over bit by bit, that would be the route you'd go down. You'd treat the pond and then treat the fish separately.
Yeah, but to be honest, PP doesn't seem to be that an effective parasite killer. It will kill, like I say, probably 80% at the recommended dose. You've either then got to go stronger and risk burning your fish, or you're just constantly chasing your tail with the parasites. You knock them down a bit, then they come back again, which is a real pain.
Knocking them sideways. What about you, Mick? What's your opinions on it?
Like an alpha, which I found is far more effective.
What's that? So you broke up just as you were saying.
Alparex.
Alparex.
Alparex. Alparex Pro. That's what I like. The Learnex. The more expensive treatments, but they really do work.
Alparex Pro. It's same company that makes Learnex Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just.
So what would you go, Mick? You'd go with that over? You go with those products over PP, or have you used PP?
No,
Do you PP? Would you go to it as a last resort or a first resort?
We all know that the flukes have got harder to kill over the last 2 to 3 years. So what I would suggest is, say, a mild PP in the pond. Leave it a period of time maybe 2 to 3 days for it to be fully out of the water. So it just takes a slime coat down, say for like gill fluke and fluke, body fluke, to
cut it all back.
Down. Yeah, so it strips the slime coat down slightly, and it gives the Alprex or the Learnex Pro sufficient like bond so it can work. Because you find if they have got like some of the parasites, they over mucus, don't they?
Yeah. So they end up with they're buried underneath or buried into it, and then the treatment is not getting to them because they're below a sort of a sublayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would always be yours would be if your go-to would be if you were going to use it, it would be as a lower dosage to strip back the fish in preparation for using a better product. Yeah. Such as that or that particular. I'm not saying the better because I don't know. I've only ever treated for it once, and I was lucky enough to get rid of it the once. But I only had the one fish that I bought with them in it. So hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see. This season might be totally different. I do believe that does make a big difference. If everybody says that your parasites come from snails and such and slugs and all the rest of it, having a fine meshed net on my pond. Very rare. I mean, I've never pulled out a snail shell out there because the snails around my way are way bigger than the netting, so they can't get in. So that's one plus side to it.
Well, I've never had flukes before until back end of last year. Now, last year, the only thing I did different with the pond, put potted hostas all around the pond, which were overhanging into the pond. So there's a very good chance that 1 or 2 slugs or snails fell off the hostas and went in the pond. Which might possibly be where the fluke came from. I mean, I only found 1 or 2 in the pond. They were very low numbers.
Yeah.
So you just don't want them in your pond, do you?
Now, if to answer the question, Gary, that you put there, PP, mate, I've never used it. To me, it seems like risky. I've seen so many people say, "Oh, you need to make sure you got so much oxygen, so much this, so much that, so much the other." If I were going to use it, I'd perhaps maybe want somebody that's already been there before, used it before, to be there because I've never used it before. And rather than, I'm a firm believer in rather than running and jumping in without your armbands on, if you can't swim, it's not a good idea. So if somebody's already a strong swimmer to teach you how to do it beforehand, would be my advice. That's what I would do. I would perhaps maybe ask somebody like Daz, Mick, Jack, anybody that's used it before in the past, either get them to talk me through it because I've never had to use it because I've never needed it. And again, I've never needed it because it's on the pond.
Yeah.
Never had parasites. So I bought parasites last year from a koi show on a fish, and I treated once. My fish don't have a heavy slime coat because I salt the pond. So when I put the treatment in anyway, it cleared it up with the recommended 1 dose and then dosed again a couple of days later. And I scraped them, tested 6 of the fish, nothing. The fish in question, nothing. I only found 1 parasite on the fish when I tested it. So there, your answer there, I would say, if I were going to do gas, I would use it, but I would ask somebody, and I'd probably use it as a last resort if all else fails for me, because I've never used it beforehand. But
I'll tell you what is
in my pond, and I always will. And my results for me are no parasites up to press.
You can get a concentrated liquid form.
Yeah, you used that over a month, didn't you?
Yeah,
I
use that as a dip. If you use it at the dip rate, I think it's something like 10 mil in 20 litres of water or something. I can't remember the exact
10 mil in 30 litres, I think it was.
Is it 30? Right. Yeah, and then you leave them in there for 7 minutes. So if you go to a koi show and you buy koi, and as a general matter of course, it's a good idea to put it in the dip tank first. Then it sterilises it before you. Yeah.
My big carcass. Well, I'm saying my big carcass. It's not big compared to some people's. It's 47 cm. It's not a small fish. When my son bought that for me for Father's Day 2 years ago, I think. The dealer over in, I think it was a little koi dealers over in Liverpool, close to Liverpool. That's what he did.
Yeah.
He bowled up the fish, let us have a look at it, and he turned around and said, right, the one thing I did actually see, he was trying to, they had a second fish that I was interested in now, and he was trying to net that fish. And when he net the fish, it thrashed and it jumped, and it dinked itself. Nothing bad, nothing major, just a slight little scruff just to the side of its cheek. And the first thing he turned around and said, right guys, sorry, that fish is not for sale now. I'm going to stick it in there. I'm going to treat that, make sure that's right before it goes anywhere, which was I was really impressed with, to be fair. And then when we chose the fish that the two that we were going to have, he bowled them both up. He took them both out of the bowl and he put them into a PP din. And he said, leave them in there for a couple of minutes. And I thought, my God, the fish has changed purple. What the hell's he doing? And then it was a case of took it back out, bagged it back up, and on it came. Never had any problem. I guess that guy, that ball looked like it was stained with PP proper, really. He'd done it a lot. It wasn't just a first time thing. So I guess that was his way of perhaps sending it to you to try and make sure it was parasite free 100% on way in.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so some people use it in that sense as well.
Yeah.
With PP though, for like all newcomers to the hobby, when the people say, "Oh, try PP," always make sure you've got a deactivating agent.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hydrogen peroxide, isn't it?
Hydrogen peroxide or the
it's a must.
And it must be up to, is it 5.9% hydrogen peroxide as a minimum, is it? Something like that. There's a certain percentage of the hydrogen peroxide it needs to be. Don't take that as gospel, guys, as whatever it is, because I've never used the stuff. But I know it's got to be of a certain percentage to neutralise it. Now, I was once told by somebody, and I don't know if this is right. So if it isn't, hit me up in the comments. Give us your opinions, tell me what you know, what you think, or if you know anything different. I was always told the hydrogen peroxide is a bleaching agent. It doesn't remove the PP, it just bleaches it out, takes the colouring away.
Yeah, well, that would make sense, yeah. But it also puts oxygen in the water as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hydrogen peroxide does, yeah. Hydrogen peroxide boosts the oxygen levels in your water.
Yeah.
That's the reason for popping it in, because PP is taking it down when it's turning brown. So the peroxide actually bleaches it out rather than, it doesn't remove it because it's still there, it just removes the effects of it. That's what I thought, and that's what I've been told. I don't know if that's right. So comments in there if you know anything different. Let's have a look, see if we can see. We've got using the PP. It only took 2 days, and it was happy as a Larry after that, but not a lot of salt. Now the warmer weather is on the way. Has anyone got some good treats for koi? Yes, mate, 100%. Telford koi, I'll go back to that one, mate. I'll come back. Piece of advice if you was given by a chap with 40 years of keeping koi experience, 6,000 gallon pond and several 80 cm plus fish. So this guy knew what he was doing to get them that big and that size of a pond. Treat the pond with a dose of FMG 3 days after introducing a new fish. Thank you very much. I've had one in my pond for 3 days. I shall very well treat my pond tomorrow with a dose of FMG. Thank you. Nice tip. Treats for koi. There's quite a lot, mate. Do you mean, first of all, orange? Cut an orange in half, leave it on top of your surface of your water. They'll nudge it around. They'll get used to it. I mean, they might not touch it for the first couple of hours in there. Some people don't get any luck with it at all. But when I've put them in mine, they've left it for a few hours or so, and they've come and had a go, and then they've tackled it. Slice a nice good, maybe about an inch thick, a slice of watermelon. Chuck that in your pot. Leave that floating around up top because they will love that. You can feed. Now, these are the temperatures. These ones that I'm about to say, high protein ones, need to be in temperatures above 10 degrees. Not below, because your fish can't digest high protein foods in temperatures below 10 degrees. But there's prawns, shrimps, In fact, just wait 1 second. I'll show you some others. There we go. Sorry about that. Some that I use. Medicoi, silkworms. High protein. Really good. Fish love them. They go crazy for them. Mine actually go nuts for them when they're thrashing and topping around up top, chasing over and arguing with them. And these ones, not necessarily this brand, any brand, but they're the same thing. Freshwater shrimps. These are fantastic for colour enhancement and growth as protein for your fish. Other ones being mealworms. Really good. Crab sticks. Don't contain crab at all, but the liked a lot by koi. Mussels, very good. Prawns, freshwater, fresh prawns. Chopped up if you want them. If you've got smaller fish, chop them up, dice them up. Cheese. No, everybody goes, cheese? Are you giving your koi cheese? Yeah, cheese, 100%. Because most carp anglers will go out there and fish all day long with a piece of cheese. Cheerios, cereals, as long as they're not a lot of sugar content. Yeah, boiled rice. There's loads of other YouTubers out there that have done all these things. I've tried a fair few of them, and to be fair, everyone that I've tried so far has been successful. They've liked it. So I am actually going to try. You can get a mixed bag of frozen seafood, which is, I think it's squid rings. There's all sorts of bits and bats in it. What do they call it's like a little round, is it not a scallop? It might be a scallop.
Oh, like cockles and that sort of thing.
Yeah, all them kind of things. I'm thinking cockles. I'm thinking about giving some of them a try this time and seeing. But yeah, iceberg lettuce, for example, there, like Mike's just put in, 100%. Chop an iceberg lettuce and rip off the outer brown leaves, leave it on there, and they will graze on that till they're out of content. And it, plus it also gives them some as a form of entertainment.
And earthworms.
Yeah, I do every time I find one.
Earthworms.
Is it parasites?
Yes, they eat worms eat the mud what contain a bacteria.
Right.
So I would always be careful on
That's good to know.
Feeding earthworms to koi. I know normal koi eat them.
Well, I've seen mine eat a spider that were running across top of netting and fell in. That didn't last long. That was gone instant. So and bees as well. I've seen a bee land on my pond because it gets under nets and they get stuck. They can't get back out. And I've seen them take them straight off the top as well. Yeah. There's black larva flies as well too. Sorry, mate, go on.
I had a water boatman on the pond this morning. I mean, don't know where it come from.
They're a flying insect, mate. So they have little folding wings that underneath the casement, and when they land, diving beetles do too as well. Yeah. So that's how you get your transfer from one pond to another.
Okay. Interesting.
Other things, just trying to think of any other things. A lot of people give broccoli, boiled broccoli as well. Yeah. But yeah, fruits. Now then.
And peas, garden peas.
Garden peas, yeah. It took me a long time. I can't remember. We were discussing this the other day. There's a type of it's not carnivore. It's a
herbivore.
That's the one. But this is what I'm trying to think of the word, and I can't remember what it was. So basically, if it'll go in the mouth, they'll eat it, pretty much. Yeah. I saw somebody saying about feeding chicken. Never tried it, but I do know somebody. I think Chris Carey from the Gummy Koi Keeper, one of his friends, feeds his Sunday dinner leftovers.
Yeah, well, luncheon meat. I mean, that's
luncheon meat. I've fished with that hundreds of times, and I've caught loads. Dog biscuits. I fished with them too, and they went crazy for them. Halibut pellets is what we were talking about. Yeah. You can make that into a paste and roll it up into little balls. And if you get some halibut pellets, crush them all up, add a bit of water, make them into a ball paste. It's what anglers do for when they're fishing, so they can make a little bit of hook bait, and then you just flick little balls of that into your pond, it sinks to the bottom. I swear your fish will go nuts for that
That's
stuff.
what the Japanese do as well.
Yeah.
They use like a halibut with spirulina kind of mix.
Yeah. I know you can get some stuff like attraction baits and stuff like Scopex. Scopex mix can't go crazy. I've sprayed that on my maggots before today. When I've come home, I've thrown that in pond in my bait box straight into pond, and fish have gone scatty for casters floating on surface for it. So yeah, fishing maggots, you can also feed them too, because obviously there's no chemicals, there's no toxins or anything on them, because they've been produced properly by your tackle shop so that you don't kill any fish in rivers and all the water courses. But casters, hemp,
high fat content though maggots do. So
yes, they do. Yeah. So you've got to feed them in small amounts, little and often. Oh, sorry, the other way around. Not so often, little amounts.
But nice treats.
Yeah, that's the same with the Medicoi silkworms. I do believe this says on there. Do not feed. Not recommended to be fed in temperatures below 15 degrees. So anything that's a high protein content, it wants to be above 15 degrees if you're going to feed them.
Yeah.
That way, then they can digest it well without being. And I think it says something on here somewhere about feeding them only maybe once a week, twice a week as a treat. Turbo growth treats for koi's, apparently, and I love them. The fiber's 3.5%, protein 56%, fats 26%, and ash is 3.5%. So that's an example. Good treat.
Yep.
And kind of medicated as well.
I'm gonna have to shoot, guys.
No respect. What I was actually going to say, to be fair, at 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not having tea yet. I'm starving.
That's me either. I think that's a pretty good first introduction to, well, GKP Live Ponto. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. I hope you come back and join us again.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for coming along and giving me an hand, guys. I've enjoyed it. As you actually get into it, you kind of forget for a minute. I apologise if it came across that way anytime, guys. You actually forget we're talking to everybody here and just talking to ear. You get lost in your conversations, but this is what we thought would be a good idea. We've done this for the last 3-4 weeks, talking amongst ourselves, and thought it might be a good content for you guys to watch. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you come back and join us again. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for tuning in. All I ask of you guys, if you've enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, like, share, tell your friends. Come back again. And on that note, guys, keep smiling, and we'll catch you on the next one. So, from me, Mick, Daz,
thanks.
Thank you very much, guys. Take it easy. We'll see you all soon.
Thank you.
Night all.
Yeah, take care, everybody.